Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to today's webinar on Zoho Writer for the supply chain and logistics industry. I'm Jennifer, your host for this session. Joining me today is Gautam, product expert for Zoho Writer. He's here to walk us through how businesses in the supply chain and logistics industry can simplify and automate their documents using Zoho Writer. Welcome, Gautam.
Thanks, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. Really glad to be here, and I'm excited to show you how Zoho Writer can completely transform document processes in your supply chain operations.
That's right. Whether it's generating purchase orders, shipping labels, delivery confirmations, or even warehouse inspection checklist, documentation is a huge part of the logistics world.
Absolutely. And with Zoho Writer, these documents aren't just easier to create, they're also automated, accurate, and integrated with your existing systems like CRM or ERP. Compared to traditional word processors, Writer is tailor-made for dynamic business workflows.
So, in the next few minutes, we'll walk you through on real-world scenarios, live demos, and best practices on how Writer can help you simplify and automate your supply chain documentation.
Exactly. And trust me, if you have ever struggled with messy templates, manual data entry, or version control, you're going to love how Zoho Writer handles it all. Let's get started.
And before that, few quick housekeeping notes before we begin. Please use the Q&A pane to post any questions you may have during the session. Our product expert Vadivel will try to answer them during the webinar as well as at the end of the session. And also, for the best viewing experience, you can switch to the top bar or sidebar layout by clicking on the three dots in your meeting toolbar that's below. Quickly walk you through on what we have planned for today's session. So we'll start by looking at why document automation is so important in the supply chain and logistics space, especially when teams often juggle between multiple tools just to get a single document up. Then we'll explore how Zoho Writer brings everything under one roof, from generating purchase order forms, order confirmation documents, and invoices to managing collaborative reviews from SOPs and vendor agreements. We'll also touch on label merges, delivery notes, and other critical documents you deal with every day. And finally, we'll share a sneak peek into what's cooking inside Zoho Writer.
That is correct. For each of these points, we have also lined up live demos using sample documents from logistics and supply chain scenarios, so you'll get to see exactly how it all works in action. So now let's talk about why document automation is so critical in the supply chain and logistics space. So there is a lot of movement between teams, systems, and even countries, and documents form the thread that keeps it all connected. So let's start with the turnaround time. In logistics, every minute counts, and with Writer, you can generate and send out documents like purchase orders or order acknowledgements within seconds, not hours. And when it comes to consistency and standardization, Writer ensures your document follows a uniform format every single time. So no more copy pasting from old files or messing up brand guidelines.
Plus, accuracy is a big win. Since Writer pulls data directly from your CRM, ERP, or spreadsheets, there is no manual entry, which means fewer errors and no duplication of effort. And collaboration is smoother too, right? Especially when multiple teams are involved with procurement, finance, warehouse, you name it. With Writer, you can review, comment, and approve documents all in one place. No more scattered email threads or version control chaos. It also supports compliance and audits, a huge plus when you're dealing with vendor contracts or shipment-related paperwork. Now, let's take a quick look at the types of documents you can automate in Writer. Like you can create documents like order acknowledgements, shipping labels, purchase orders, delivery challans, supplier agreements, SOP documents, and even packaging list. For example, you can trigger a delivery challan as soon as an order is dispatched from your ERP, completely automated and error-free. And Gautam, most logistic companies today rely on a combination of tools like Word or Google Docs for templates, PDF editors for forms, e-sign tools like DocuSign, automation platforms like Power Automate, and the list goes on, right? So do we really need all of them?
That's searching, Jennifer. You don't. Zoho Writer brings all of that into a single, tightly integrated platform. You can create smart templates like in Word or Google Docs, but with dynamic fields that auto-populate from your data sources.
But what about fillable forms? Many use tools like Jot Forms or Adobe Forms just for that purpose, right?
Yes, that is correct. Well, Writer has its native fillable fields and fillable templates. So you can build interactive forms directly inside the document and share them for completion, just like you would do in a standalone form builder. And when it comes to signatures, it usually requires a separate tool like DocuSign or Adobe Sign. With Writer, you can add sign fields and connect it with Zoho Sign or even other e-sign signature platforms. So there is no more switching tools, no more reformatting. So it's built right into the document flow.
That's really great. But what about automating document generation? So people usually rely on tools like Composer or Microsoft Power Automate for that, right?
That is correct. Well, Writer has merge templates and powerful automation built in. You can trigger documents based on CRM stages, form submissions, or even schedules where you would not be required to go for any expensive third-party automation platforms. Also, the most important thing here is everything is no code and UI based, so you can perform all sort of automation without coding knowledge.
So essentially, that means Writer does the work of 6 or 7 different tools.
Exactly. You save time, money, and avoid the headache of juggling between applications. One document platform, all your needs are covered.
That's really interesting. And let's start with one of the most powerful capabilities of Zoho Writer, that is document and form generation. So in the supply chain and logistics world, forms and documents aren't just paperwork. They are the starting point for everything from procurement to delivery. Now, here's a real world use case. Like, let's say you're collecting product orders from clients. You need them to confirm the quantity and provide their signature, but you also want to send them a document that's already pre-filled with their details and the product info. With Zoho Writer, you can create a purchase order that's dynamically filled with client and product information. The client just has to enter the quantity and sign. So simple for the client. And once they submit it, the document is automatically stored in OneDrive or CRM. And your backend system gets updated. So no more manual follow-ups, no data re-entry.
That's a great example, Jennifer. So this is where Writer really shines. So instead of using one tool for the form, another for signature, and let's say another tool to store the document somewhere, you can handle the entire workflow in single place, which is Zoho Writer. So let me show you how that works in action. So I'll just walk you through a live demo on this. So let me quickly jump over to the Writer section, and here I have a purchase order document. So let's just say I've got a sheet. So this is the data source that I've connected to this merge template. So if you have any questions regarding how to create a merge template or how merge templates work, we have got previous webinars, but we'll be posting those links in the Q&A tab as well. So you can do check that out. And yes, so as I mentioned, we have got a data source here, which is a Zoho sheet. And here I have the customer's name and the product that they have purchased. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to create a merge template with fillable fields. So basically, my intention is to get the number of quantity requirement from my customers so that I can inform the inventory team accordingly so that they'll be able to prepare the required products and deliver it on time. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use merge fields. So first I'm connecting the Zoho sheet as the data source, and I'm using the transform data source option in order to transform my record into subforms. So here I have a subform record available. So all the products and the pricing is being considered as a subform within the merged data source. So now once that is done, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert the fields, and I'm going to reuse repeat table row for the subform fields. And furthermore, I'm going to add fillable fields into the document. So here you can see that I've added a number field, which is the quantity. So once they enter the quantity, I'm going to calculate the price amount. So here I have the price merge field and the fillable field over here in order to calculate the total that I'm going to bill the customer. So here you can see that I have also made sure that the format is set to currency. So once this configuration is done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the entire total and in order to bring my subtotal. So for this, I'm going to use the table cell reference value. So here you can see that I have referred the table and I'm going to sum the entire table cells. So further moving on, I'm also adding the tax amount, so which is going to be 20%. So I'm going to add the tax amount, and once that is done, I'm going to get the total by summing up the subtotal and the tax amount which is being billed. So further, I'm also adding a multi-line text field and a signature field in the document. So this signature field will be signed by my customer once they provide the quantity, so that it's an authorization that I can go ahead and send it to my inventory team. So now once this process is completed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge and share this as a fillable link. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure the form submit actions. So in this case, what I can do is I can save the document into a folder, and also I can trigger webhook and custom functions. So let's just say I want to get these details. I want to update these details back to my Zoho sheet or back to my Zoho CRM, whichever based on my preference. I can use custom functions in order to push these data to the required destination. So here you can see these are the various options available in the gallery, or you can also add your own custom function and push those data. So here, for example, if I'm using update Zoho CRM records, the details filled by my customer will be updated in the appropriate CRM record. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that the configuration is done, and I'm going to run the merge now. Now the merge operation is being initiated, and let's just wait for the fillable link to be generated. So here I can also use the email address as dynamic, so that based on my data source, each customer will be receiving their own purchase order. Yes, now the form has been sent, so I'll be receiving an email. So for easy access, I'm just opening the link directly from here. So here you can see that the product selected by this particular customer, John Smith, is being listed in here, and I can just go ahead and enter the quantity. So as I enter the quantity, you can see that dynamically the formulas are being calculated, and I'm getting the total amount as well along with the tax amount. So this is how I can easily share a purchase order. So let's say I'm just entering some additional delivery notes. And I'm just going to insert my signature into the document. So now once these are submitted, I can just go ahead and hit submit, so that based on the configuration that I've done in the template. So let's just say if I'm going to push the data to CRM, or if I'm just going to save it in my work trial, I can just go ahead and ensure that these operations are carried over. So this is how a purchase order can be delivered to the customer, and you can get additional data from them and Based on that, you'll be able to prepare your inventory and deliver the goods on time.
That was a very impressive demo, Gautam, and it's really interesting to know how Writer handles the entire purchase order flow without switching to different tools. So now let's take it one step further. So let's say the customer has submitted the purchase order form. Your logistics team now need to send back an official order confirmation, something that includes the product list, total payable amount, delivery date, and billing details. Can Zoho Writer generate this document automatically based on the form responses?
Absolutely, Jennifer. So once the purchase order is submitted, Writer can instantly pull in the submitted details from CRM and then generate a ready to send order confirmation. It's completely pre-filled, no manual editing needed. So let me quickly show you a quick demo on that. So in this case, you can see that this is the order confirmation form that's been created from scratch within Zoho Writer. So here you can see that I have connected Zoho CRM as the data source. So in CRM, I have these informations, the product information and the pricing, and all these information is available in my Zoho CRM. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these data and generate an order confirmation letter. So as we mentioned, the purchase order information is being pushed to Zoho CRM, as you can see here. And now I'm going to use these information and send out an order confirmation letter to my customer. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in the company information along with the customer information. So these are the information being pulled from my Zoho CRM as a data source. And now further, I'm just adding a repeat table, which is a subform repeat table, which contains the product description, quantity, and the unit price along with the total cost that is being filled by my customer. And not only that, I am also adding an estimated delivery date. And here you can see that this is a date field. And I'm just going to use this date field. And using this date field, I'm also calculating the number of days left from the date of this invoice generation. So here you can see that I've uses a data diff calculation, and in here there is a date field which is the current date, and then I have added the estimated date of delivery. So using the difference between these two, I'm going to calculate the number of days left for the date of delivery. So now let me just quickly go ahead and show you a preview of how this looks on a output. So here you can see that the customer information, email, address, and the company information is also being generated along with the order number. So now you can see that the description, the product total, and the tax amount, tax percentage, amount due, everything is being listed. And here you can see that the expected date of delivery is July 26, which is 16 days from today. So this is how you can create an order confirmation letter and automate this process. And not only this, you can also make sure that if you have Zoho CRM, you can use a custom workflow and you'll be able to push these order confirmation letter based on certain single click. So that's about order confirmation letter, and this is how you can send it to your customers.
Alright, Gautam, with this demo, I was able to understand how we can confirm the order with the customer. The next step is, of course, invoicing. So let's say the logistics team needs to send out a finalized invoice for the recent shipment. This needs to include the itemized product details, tax breakdowns, the total amount in words, and clear payment terms. Can Zoho Writer help automate this process too?
Definitely, Jennifer. With Writer, you can generate a professionally well-looking invoice instantly. All the details like product info, total amount, and payment terms are pulled directly from your data source. So in this case, I've got CRM as my data source. So once generated, you can automatically send the invoice via email, attach it to your customer's CRM record, or archive it in Work Drive. So this is all a part of one smooth workflow. So let me quickly walk you through a live demo for this as well. So here, this is an invoice document. So this is something that I've created in Writer from scratch. So here you can see that there are various fields which are similar to the order acknowledgement letter that we discussed previously. So now in this case, what I've done is I've added the total and I've added the formulas like sum above, tax calculation, and also the amount due. So here I've used the table cell reference value. So here you can see that E3 plus E4, which is the table cell value calculation, is done here. And furthermore, I have also referred the table's value outside the table as well. So here you can see that I have referred the table name, which is table 4, and the cell reference, which is E5. And I have formatted the number value to currency. So here, and furthermore, moving on, I have also used similar table cell reference, but in this case, I'm going to convert the number to a text value. So usually in an invoice, you would find this number to text words. So I've used the same in this case as well. So now having the data source as Zoho CRM, and now I'm just going to go ahead and preview the merge. So here you can see that the total invoice is getting generated, and dynamically you can send multiple invoices to your customers by just a single click. So not only that, we also have various options like you can store it for later use or send it via email, or even trigger any custom functions based on the merge operation that is being carried out. So this is how an invoice generation is made so simple using Zoho Writer.
Let's move on to another critical area: collaborative review and approval. In supply chain and logistics, you often deal with sensitive or process-heavy documents like SOPs, compliance protocols, or vendor manuals that require inputs from multiple stakeholders. And here's a scenario related to that. So let's say you're drafting a document called Supply Chain and Logistic Compliance to outline SOPs and regulatory requirements. Now, this document needs feedback from multiple teams like operations, compliance, warehouse, and maybe even from the legal team. So how goes through a formal review process before.
Okay. Yes, as you mentioned, that's a common challenge, Jennifer. And even in our polls, we can see that many were struggling with collaborating and approving process. Well, with Zoho Writer, you'll be able to easily handle these kind of collaboration, and you'll be able to create or generate documents easily. So you can bring your team into a single document where everyone can add content, suggest edits, and leave comments all in real time. No more version chaos or email threads. And once it's ready, you can push these documents into a writer's built-in review and approval workflow. That way, nothing gets published or shared without proper validation and sign-off. So let me quickly show you a demo on how this works. So here is a supply chain and logistic compliance document that we have created at Writer. So as you can see, we have used various elements in this document like the cover page. We have used text boxes here and there in order to display the text according to our preference. And we have also added borders in order to have a decorative layout. And you can see that there are multiple columns available in the document as well. So using section breaks and multiple column layouts, we have added and created these documents. And here is a table of content where you can see the table of contents that is in the document. And also we have added some text boxes like compliance guide on the right panel. So we have added a text box and created it according to our preference. So this is how you can create a compliance document within Writer. But when we talk about collaboration, what you can do is you can share this document with multiple users in your team, and you'll be able to easily work on the document simultaneously. So let's just say there are multiple departments working on the same document. they can just split the areas according to their preference and then work on it. So using the live collaboration, you'll be able to work on the document with ease. And not only that, we also have comments available. So using the comments, you can add comment, and not only adding, you can also set who can view this comment as well. So based on your requirement, you can add the users and you'll be able to add a comment to them. And by adding the comment, and you can also mention the users as well in your comment so that they'll be getting a notification. And furthermore, if you'd like to send out the document out for final review or something, you can just enable this track changes option so that any changes made by the users will be tracked, so that by getting it the changes option, you can either choose to accept it or reject it based on your convenience. So now once this collaboration operation is completed, what you can do is you can go to assign workflow and send the document for a review, approval, or both combined review and approval workflow. So let me just go ahead and use review and approval workflow. And here I can add reviewers to the document. So I'm just adding myself and Jennifer in this document, and maybe add some note. And I'm going to set a due date and approvals due date as well. So now I'm checking the workflow blueprint. Just give me a moment. I guess that is a network error in my end. Basically, what I can do is I can just go ahead and send a document for workflow, and what will happen is the document will become uneditable, so other users will not be able to edit. So they'll be able to only check the document. So the reviewer and the approver will be able to check the document, and then they'll be able to suggest changes, or they can also send the document for final review. So that's how the workflow works. So let me quickly show you that as well. I'm going to view the blueprint. So this is the blueprint. So this is the review and approval blueprint. So first it gets sent for review, and if the reviewer suggests any changes, then it's go back to the author again, and they can go ahead and resubmit it for review. So once the review process is completed, if they have made if the approver makes sure that there is some changes required, then it will be sent back again to the author so that they can resubmit it for review and then get into the approval process. So that's how review and approval process works. So this is the blueprint. So now I'm just going to send out the review. So let me reload the document as the workflow is started. So now you can see that so the review is being requested, and now since I am the initial reviewer, I can just check out the document, and if there are any changes, I can add my comments inside the document. And once the comments are being added, I can just go ahead and use suggest changes option. So I'll just provide the required information. I have added the changes to the comments, and then click on submit, so that the document gets back to the author for again resubmission. So they can make the necessary changes and then go ahead and resubmit. So let's just consider I've made the changes. I'll just go ahead and resubmit it for review. Now it's been again resubmitted to the reviewer, and now the reviewer can get into it and check out the changes and complete the review process. So now once the review process is completed, it goes next to the approver. So now Jennifer is the approver, so she'll be receiving her document and she can go ahead and approve the document or even suggest any changes if it is required. So now you can see that I'll not be able to make any changes to the document because Jennifer is the approver. So this is how review and approval process in workflows work. So using Writer, you can easily send out the document for a review and approval process. So you'll not be required to purchase any other tool just to perform this workflow.
Thank you, Gautam. That was really interesting to know how you can utilize workflows for a collaborative effort in creating SCM and logistic related documents. So let's talk about vendor agreements. Say you're onboarding a new supplier and need to prepare a contract. This usually involves multiple rounds of edits, back and forth emails, and long review cycles. So how does Zoho Writer can help streamline the negotiation and approval process for such agreements?
Great question, Jennifer. In Writer, you can draft the agreement and share it directly with the concerned parties, whether they are internal stakeholders or external vendors. They can use comments and track changes to suggest any edits or raise clarifications. So you can see all these inputs in one place, resolve them collaboratively, and once the terms are finalized, you can send the document through Writer's built-in approval workflow to ensure everything is compliant before it's executed. So let me quickly get into a demo session so that our audience will have a clear understanding of that. So as I mentioned previously, you can make use of the workflow feature, track changes and comments in order to have the negotiation process. So this is a merged document. So here you can see that an automatic sequence number, which is the agreement number, is generated, the effective and the termination date, so which is calculated 3 years from the effective date. So this is how you can calculate and put in the termination date. And here you can see that all the information about the purchase and the supplier is being available. So let's just say I'm going to share this document to the external party, but I don't want them to go ahead and edit this. So what I can do is I can either enable the track change feature or even lock the content. So I can just get into the tools and lock the selected content so that they'll not be able to edit or make any changes to the values that I have locked. So similarly, once this operation is completed, what I can do is I can just go ahead and get into the automate tab, turn this as a sign template. So here I've added signature fields. So once the negotiation process is completed and once the terms are finalized, I can simply go ahead and set a workflow, and even once the workflow completes, I can go ahead and initiate a sign workflow in this document as well. So I can simply convert it into a sign template and go ahead and send the document for signing. So it's just that simple, so that I'll be able to easily configure signers and send the document for signature as well.
That was a very interesting demo, Gautam. Now let's shift focus to something a bit more operational, that is shipping labels. Your logistic team handles multiple orders on a daily basis, and each one needs a properly formatted label with customer address, contact details, and the tracking info. It sounds simple, but when done manually, it's incredibly time consuming. So how does Zoho Writer can simplify label generation at a larger scale?
Well, this is exactly where label merge templates come in handy. So you can pull data directly from your CRM or spreadsheet and auto-generate shipping labels in bulk. So you can also add barcodes or QR codes for real-time tracking. And once generated, you can either print them or share them digitally with your fulfillment partners. So there is no more copy pasting or reformatting. So this is accurate, fast, and fully automated as well. So let me show you a quick demo on label templates. So in Writer, we have certain label templates as well. These are public templates, so you can make use of it. I've simply used a label templates And what I've done is I've added a repeat cell value. So I'm repeating the cell so that this cell will be generated to the entire document. And I have 10 data sources in my CRM. So I have 10 records in my CRM, which is the data source that I have chosen. So now here you can see that I have added the sales name, to address, and the customer's phone number along with the barcode. So for further configuration, I have added the invoice address as my barcode value. Here you can see that there are barcode formats available and the barcode value is also configured. So it can be configured according to your preference. So now once this configuration is done, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run the merge operation. So what I can do is I can either merge and store the document in my work drive, and my shipping team can take a printout and then go ahead and deliver the goods, or I can also go ahead and send it via email as an attachment so that my team can take a printout. So let me show you a quick preview of how it looks. Yes. So here you can see that all the address and the company's information is being dynamically pulled, and the label is ready to print. So now all I have to do is just take a printout of this in a label sheet and make it as a sticker and stick it in my delivery goods. So that's how simple it is for you to use shipping labels. And also we have multiple templates available, so you can do check that out and use it for your shipping label generations.
Alright, the goods have been now packed and shipped. Now comes the final process, which is the delivery confirmation. Let's say your delivery team needs proper proof that the shipment reached the right person in the right condition. Typically, this would involve a printed note, maybe like a signature and some form of verification. So how can Writer help here in this case?
Well, in Writer, you can generate a delivery note that includes all the shipment details like item list, quantities, delivery address, and more. This information can be directly pulled from your data source as well. The delivery person can present the note to the customer on a tablet or as a printout. The customer reviews the information and signs it on spot, either digitally or on a paper. So this serves as a record, and the clear handover and legal proof of delivery can be done. So let me quickly show you on how this works in action. So here I have created a delivery note, and as you can see here, I am pulling pretty much the invoice information in here, and I have added a signature field as well. So this field is being configured in such a way that is a in-person signature. Let me quickly get into merge and sign. So here you can see that I am adding the in-person signer. So I can, and the facilitator would be sales invoice, that is the email address. So I'm also choosing sign in the above order so that only after the customer signs, the delivery person or the company will be able to provide the signature as a final delivery note. And not only that, in the advanced settings, I'm also using the custom function so that the document or the signed document will be pushed back to my Zoho CRM record. So this actually completes an entire workflow where the delivery note will be attached to my Zoho CRM record. So now I've added this function as well. So this function is also available in the gallery. So you can choose that and just make the minor changes in order to execute the function. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get into a record and then run the merge for a delivery note. Now this is the delivery note and I'm going to run the merge. So now let's just wait for the merged document to be sent out. So this page will be auto refreshed for every 30 seconds. So you can wait and you can check the status. So if there are any hassle, then you'll be able to get a clear information in this log page. Yes, so you can see that the document is being generated and it's been sent out to my email address for getting signed. So now let me open my email, and this is the email inbox that I have, and here you can see that I have received a notification. So now what I can do is I can just open this link. So this is the log tab, so I'm opening it here. And now I can just pass the control to the customer. So let's just consider that I am the delivery person, and I'm just going to pass the control over to my customer so that they'll be able to check on these information and put in their signature. So now that has been completed and done. So now what will happen is the second email address will be receiving an email. So now the in-person signing is being completed, and you can see that the second signer is being receiving the signed document. So let me quickly show that as well. See through the document, and here you can see the customer signature will be already available, and the company or the delivery person can just go ahead and put in the signature and complete it. So now you can see that what we have done is we have added a complete workflow from purchase order, order confirmation, generating invoice, and sending it out via shipping labels, and also the delivery note. And this delivery note will also be attached to Zoho CRM, so that from the purchase order to the delivery note, everything is completed with Zoho Write, which is a single tool.
So far we have looked at some of the core documents in logistics, but there are several others that play a vital role in keeping the supply chain running smoothly. Take the certificate of origin, for instance. It's essential for cross-border shipments to verify whether goods are produced. Then there's the custom declaration, which helps speed up clearance and avoid compliance issues. Documents like the packing list or packing slip make sure what's shipped and what matches what's ordered. So super useful for warehouse teams and customers alike. And the picking list or pick ticket helps warehouse staff know exactly which items to pull for an order. The good news is all of these can be created just as easily in Zoho Writer using merge templates, pulling real-time data and setting up reusable formats. No more starting from scratch or messing with any of the formatting every time.
That is right, Jennifer. And before we close, let me quickly give you a quick glimpse of what's cooking inside Zoho Writer. Some upcoming features that we are really excited about. First up, we have introduced webhook triggers to initiate document merges. This means you'll soon be able to kick off document generation automatically based on events from external systems like your ERP or order management software without needing to click a thing in Zoho Writer. For example, let us say the stock in your inventory goes below her threshold. Using webhook as trigger, you'll be able to automatically trigger a purchase order and send it to your vendors. So next, we are bringing in support for multiple document generation and different modes of distribution from a single trigger. For example, the moment a sales order is confirmed, Writer can instantly create the invoice, delivery note, and packing list and send each one through a different channel. So let's say email to the customer, internal archive to work drive, and CRM attachment, all in one seamless flow. We are also working on a powerful new feature, which is external partner review and approval. So this will allow you to securely send documents to partners or vendors outside your organization for review and approval, while still maintaining full control and visibility throughout the process. And finally, we are adding support for other digital signature services like DocuSign and Adobe DigiSign, in addition to our native Zoho Sign integration. So this gives you more flexibility in choosing the signing platform that best suits your business or your client requirements. And some exciting capabilities on the horizon, all aimed at making your document automation experience more powerful and adaptable to real world supply chain needs.
Thanks, Gautam. That was a great walkthrough from generating purchase orders and invoices to handling approvals, shipping labels, and delivery notes, all the way to what's coming next in Writer. So, to our attendees, if you have any question, now it's the time to drop them in the Q&A tab. We'll take a few live questions as well, and the rest will be answered by our product experts.
And before we complete, I'll just show you a quick overview on what are the tools that Writer can go ahead and replace. So for form creation, many might be using Form Stack, JotForm, PDF Filler, Adobe Forms. So when it comes to Writer, you can use this as a single tool where you'll be able to use fillable templates and create fillable forms. And for document signing, you might be using DocuSign, DigiSign. Whereas in Writer, it's not required. So we have a native integration with Zoho Sign. So that's a built-in feature. You can simply add in signer fields and set out the documents for getting signatures. Similarly, for template creation, you might be using MS Word, Adobe, whereas in Writer, it's also a part of the application. So you can easily create templates. So like we showcased today. So today, all the templates that we have showcased was created from scratch in Zoho Writer. And similarly for data source, you might be requiring a different tool. So if you're using a template creation in a particular tool, for data source, you might be using a different tool like Google Forms or Sheets or MS Excel. Whereas when it comes to Writer, the data source is available within Writer itself. So you can use Zoho Sheet, or you can use Zoho CRM, or whichever application that you prefer. Even you can simply upload a CSV file and use that as a data source. And when it comes to document generation, people might use MS Word, or to pre-fill certain information for getting automation, you might use MS Power Automate or Zapier, which are really expensive as well as they are really complex to use. Whereas when it comes to Writer, it's a UI based and it's completely easy to use as well. So similarly, if you would like to store the document, then you might be requiring a different application like OneDrive, Google Drive, etc. Whereas Zoho Work Drive is built in with Zoho Writer, so you can simply store these documents that you create in Zoho Work Drive without costing you a penny. So that's easy, and that's how a single tool, which is Writer, can replace all of these tools. So that's, you can just go ahead and check Writer and its features today.
Thank you, everyone. And to quickly wrap up, today we explored how Zoho Writer helps automate and streamline a wide range of documents across your supply chain and logistics workflows. We looked at how you can generate purchase orders, order confirmations, and invoices with live data without any manual effort. We also covered how SOPs and vendor agreements can go through structured review and approval cycles, and how label merge simplifies a bulk shipping label creation, and how delivery notes can be signed on the spot to confirm handovers. And finally, we gave you a glimpse of what's coming next, like webhook triggers, multi-document generation from a single event, external partner approvals, and integration with more e-sign platforms. And thanks again for joining us today. We hope you now see how Zoho Writer can unify and simplify your entire document journey all in one platform. See you next in our next session.